I'm Simon Colman from SHA, the head of digital, and you're watching RISKAfrica TV. I guess what I'm most passionate about is simplifying complex things. And for most brokers, liability falls into that category. You know, we've all grown up in insurance, knowing a lot about property insurance, motor, and I guess most intermediaries are more comfortable talking about those things. But when you say liability or directors and officers, or these days something that's become quite topical is cyber. You know, then you kind of get that glazed look, and if you put yourself in the broker's shoes, sitting and talking to a client and explaining those things is quite daunting if you yourself don't fully understand those. So I kind of made it my mission at SHA to try and simplify and unpack those things. Yeah, it's become a big deal, you know, and I mean in our business and at SHA, so in our business is 33 years old now, and we've still over the years done things very much the traditional way. You know, when Tony and Angus started our business, the S and the H in SHA, it was very much done, you know, with a handshake, sitting around the boardroom table, in a pub even, and talking about risks, and you know, maybe even got a quote on a serviette or something. And we've had to obviously move with the times. We don't have the luxury of, you know, taking a week or two to come up with terms now, because the market's extremely competitive. And so it has definitely impacted on us. And that was really what was pushing us to say we've got to come up with something that our brokers can use. And I see you going, okay, but let's keep this in mind. You know, the average age of a broker in South Africa is probably 50 plus. I recall when I went on a trip around the country with the FIA, you know, having a look at the demographics in most of the provinces, and most of the independently owned brokers, you know, it's your sort of white, generally Afrikaans male, 50 years plus. Would those guys use a piece of technology to do their insurance business? And we asked ourselves a lot of questions about that. But those are the same guys that use an internet banking app. And you know, it's not unfamiliar to be using technology in your everyday life, even for somebody that's over the age of 50 and is used to doing things maybe more analog. I think we've got a challenge, you know. I mean, it's, you know, I'm involved with some other initiatives where we're trying to make insurance more appealing to younger people, encouraging them to step forward and maybe try and throw the spotlight on, you know, that it's not just about claims or underwriting. There are all these different facets to the industry. But yeah, I think it is a challenge, particularly amongst the independently owned brokers. You know, they've built those brokerages up over years, most of them very successfully. The succession plan isn't always clear, although I know it is something that the FSB insists on these days. But you always, I mean, I'm hearing a lot of the older brokers, you know, sort of collapsing their companies into bigger conglomerates and losing that entrepreneurial spirit. And instead of somebody young coming in and taking over the reins, it just kind of, you know, disappearing. And I think that's worrying. I'm not sure what the FIA is doing about that. I don't, you know, if I look at our own business, you get somebody who's young and talented, and I'm not sure we're saying, okay, so when this person says, look, I'd like to leave the company, I'm going to go and work for one of the other big insurers. Perhaps what we should be saying is, you know, let us help you get set up as a broker. You know, those are the opportunities that we should be looking for, rather than, you know, just kind of, and we really are guilty of this in the specialist insurance space. We just recycle and circulate the same people, even the youngsters. You know, they'll just hop from one to the other, but they stay in the circle. You know, and we should find ways of just kind of getting them out of it and into the next part of the circle, which could be broking.